Hi, sisters. Welcome back to Secrets of a Church Girl. I'm your co-host, Allison.
And I'm Randy.
And today we have a really special guest,
Yay.
Jenny.
Thanks, guys. Hello.
Jenny Garza.
Yes, our queen.
Jenny from the Hill.
Yes.
You know what's funny is I have multiple clients that have come in like not knowing that I know you
Yeah.
and asking where I came from and how I'm in California. And I'm like, oh, I go to this church. And they're like, do you know Jenny Arnold? And I'm like, I have no idea who that is. And I was like, oh, Jenny Garza.
Actually, somebody messaged me
That's so
yesterday and
funny.
was like, I saw your friend preaching. And I was like, what? Like, she said, I saw your salon friend preaching. And then I saw Colby and Jenny from Rise, a fitness studio.
Yeah.
And I was like, small world, like.
Small town vibes.
Yeah.
Listen, we used to both teach fitness classes there in Hamburg.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, how fun.
You
Yes,
were
sir.
living out here?
Hey, I cleared my schedule. I'm going to start going to cycling.
yay.
Jenny is a fitness queen. What do you teach? Cycle?
Right now I'm just teaching cycle. So,
But what else have you taught in the past?
I've taught body sculpting class, HIIT classes. I used to manage fitness studios in Dallas on top of dental hygiene. So I had to learn every format, and the studio I worked at had 17 formats.
Oh my
gosh. You name it, arms, abs, booty, all of it.
Have you done Pilates?
Wow.
Not on a reformer,
Okay.
but
Matt
yeah,
Pilates.
reformer and yoga are like the two,
That you haven't done.
and
Yeah.
dancing.
Dance.
I learned like Zumba, but
Not your thing.
no, I'm in the back.
Funny. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're introducing you for the first time to our audience. Well, no, actually, this is the second time.
Yeah, but she was just a voice.
Yeah, 2 episodes ago, you heard this voice in the sky that sounded like an angel. That was Jenny.
Yes.
That's me.
So, but we didn't get into your story. But today we're excited because we're going to be talking about a few different things. We're obviously in our Christmas jammies,
Period.
which Allison's are so on brand. I feel like. Can you show them your arms? Ding 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 ding. They have fluffies. But we are jumping into our Christmas time, our holiday season. So we're excited for you to spend the holidays with us. We're going to jump into some like light fun topics, talk through some traditions as well. Again, like you heard last episode for Thanksgiving. But we also want to talk about grief in the holidays. And we took a poll on some of our socials. And so we're going to share that with you guys today about how holidays make you feel. Are they exciting? Are they nerve-wracking? Do they not make you feel anything? I know that there are people that are literally like, oh, the holidays feel the same as any other time of the year.
Oh.
Yeah. So I just think there's people that experience holidays and they're indifferent about them, or they're like the best time of the year for them, or they're like the hardest time of the year for them. So we're going to jump into some of that today. Jenny has a story to be told. So we're excited to get into it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yes, I'm excited. Wait, but let's just start with like, tell us how old you are. Are you single? Are you married? Do you have children? What do you do? Like, tell us the season of life you're in.
Yeah. So right now I'm 35, hit a milestone this year.
Yay.
I'm coming up on being married for 5 years. So big year for us. I'm married to Colby Garza, and
She's like, let me just put it out there.
so yeah, we've been married almost 5 years. I met him when I was living down in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And 2 years ago we moved back to the area, which is my hometown area. And yeah, we wanted to bring our family here. We have 1 3-year-old, Asher, Addie's little BFF at church.
Awesome.
He's amazing. We love raising him here, and it's been really great to be back. I am currently a dental hygienist, but I've been doing that for 15 years, but I'm also in nursing school. So
Slay.
yes, just doing different things, but kind of the same medical field service route, but just wanted to expand before I didn't have any energy to do so. So
Well, you're killing it.
thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
halfway through your second to last semester, yes?
Yes.
That's
yes.
amazing.
So 21 weeks left till graduation. No,
No one's counting?
of school. 21 weeks of school left until graduation.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Okay, wait, let's like track back just a little bit. Okay, so you're from here,
from here,
but you were living in Dallas when you met Colby.
correct.
Okay, so how did you end up in Dallas?
So I have 2 older brothers. One of them still lives in Dallas, actually, had gotten moved there for work when I was graduating dental hygiene school. And he was like, you need to move here. You'll have so much fun. It's such a great place. He sold it to me. So he's like, come visit on your spring break. And so I did. And I just fell in love with the city. I felt like I was at home, which was really a weird feeling because I grew up in such a small town, going to such a big city. And I had traveled different big cities and never felt at home. And so probably helped that he was there too, you know, but so after dental hygiene school, I just said bye, took my boards, I left. I didn't even know if I'd passed my board exam. I just was confident enough to go and just moved. And then I ended up being there for 11 years. Wow. Yeah. So it was really, really fun. I loved every second of it. Met my husband. And
how did you guys meet? Where did you meet?
I was going to say that because I don't even know.
Yeah, actually at a brunch on a Sunday. Yeah. I was actually out teaching a fitness class at this really cool like warehouse studio thing for one of the brands, and my friends were in town, and I was like, well, just go to brunch with the rest of my friends and I'll meet you after. And so I showed up after, like sweaty, just, you know, at the leisure. Yeah. And he was there with one of our other friends that he had met. He was leaving. I was coming in. I just introduced myself because he was really the only person I didn't know there. And I just knew. And I was like, I need to know who that is.
Stop.
Like, I got to know. So
did he go to the workout class?
Huh?
Did he go to the workout class?
No, he was just at the brunch, like with one of our friends. So when I showed up,
somebody's house or like a restaurant?
A restaurant.
Oh, okay.
So I showed up. He was like walking out. As I was walking, I was like, "Oh, hi!" Like
you're like, "Hold on,
I don't know. On. You're cute. I don't know you. I'm Jenny. Nice to meet you.
I want your last name."
And then I just begged people for his last name, and no one like really knew because he was kind of like new to the group of people.
He was a friend of the friends.
So like, somebody get this info.
Yeah.
So then how did you connect from there? Because it just was a handshake, yeah?
Good old Instagram.
Ooh.
Did you follow him?
I found him on Instagram and dropped in his DM, and I was like, hey, it was so nice to meet you. Everybody had such great things to say about you. Aww. I would love to grab coffee and get to know you more. And he was like, how about dinner?
What? Okay.
Yeah, that was bold.
That was bold.
And so basically you're telling the viewers, jump in the DMs. No, just
oh my God.
I just was like, it was time to not waste time. I don't know.
So you would have been what?
Yeah, how old were you?
How long did you guys date before you got married?
So that was shortly before my 30th birthday.
Okay.
We met in February, started dating in March.
Okay.
Got engaged in October, and we're married the next November.
I love that timeline.
Yes. So, I think if you just like feel, there's just a feeling that I just couldn't explain. And it was like that I had no worries. I felt safe. And it was just like, this makes so much sense.
Safety.
Oh yeah.
Safety.
Yeah, for sure.
And you just felt it, you know? And I hate when people say that, like, oh, when you know. But it's like, it's so true.
Yeah.
You just kind of feel it and can see the rest of your life just unfold, and that was that.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
I
love that. I didn't know that you went through the DMs, girl.
I did.
I feel like that's so fitting because you guys have a big social media presence. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny. It kind of how it turns out because mine was bigger back then because I was doing all these events, and then he wanted to like get to doing. So I helped him like start making videos and things. And so now he's like surpasses me by 1 million.
No,
but yeah,
that's so
it's
cute.
fun.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's so funny. Well, it's probably why you felt at home there. When you visited the first time because he was there.
He was there. Yeah, and if you like kind of rewind all that, it's really crazy to think about. Like, I mean, what we always talk about, God just already has your next steps planned, and you just have no idea what that's gonna look like, but He does.
Yeah,
and it's like He just knew. That's where I had to be in order to meet him.
Yeah.
And he was born and raised there.
Born and raised there. Yep.
So then you guys are married. So you guys get married in what?
November of 2019. So right before COVID.
Okay.
So we were able to enjoy a big, fun wedding with no masks.
Yeah. And then you guys went straight into COVID.
Yep.
So where'd you get married? Down there?
We got married in Dallas.
Okay.
And then, he moved in with me. I had a townhouse in Dallas, and then it was COVID. So our first full year of marriage was in a house together.
What was that like?
Wow.
Great. We had so much fun.
Oh,
it was
good.
like, there was no issue to it at all.
Because you hear people different stories, and it's like we were like, oh, this
Yeah,
is all-
wow.
we're only gonna be with each other, and then other people that are like, no, this was the greatest,
The
We
best
just-
time.
yeah.
Yeah, we loved it. And he was technically still could go and work. Like he was essential because he was
okay.
building homes. They were
Yes.
outdoors. There could be space. So he was allowed to go. So it wasn't like 24/7 that we were together, but a lot more than we ever would have been.
Were you working?
For the first 6 weeks, I was not.
Oh,
We
okay.
were non-essential. Gyms were closed. Dental offices were closed.
Dental offices. I was wondering.
So it took a long time to get back in the gym, but I got back to dental hygiene sooner than that. So
Okay, so tell us a little bit about like, do you and Colby have any traditions that you guys started, like when you got married? Obviously, you guys had holidays together a few years before you had Asher, right?
yes,
So 2 years you guys were married when you had Asher?
yes. Just before, 2 years together before he was born. Yeah.
Okay. So did you guys create any traditions before that he kind of like walked into, or have you created more now that he's born? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
I think we're kind of generating them as we go through each year. It's so interesting watching children like feel Christmas and holidays and like get the excitement for it.
Yeah.
So like I have one book that I've been reading for the last 3 years at Christmas to Asher. Like it's a special book that like my parents bought him, and just so that he has that forever. And I never did PJs with my family. That was like not a thing for us. And so we don't do like all matchy, but we always coordinate now. So that's kind of fun too.
Cute, yeah.
But I mean, now that he's 3, we'll do a lot more cookies, and we keep doing gingerbread houses, just more hands-on as he understands what's happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just being together, we always make the time to just make sure we're together during those times. And just don't let anything get in the way of that.
I love
Yeah, I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
I'll keep asking. Did you have any traditions like growing up, like at home in your own house? With your parents?
Nothing very specific. We kind of just did the regular run of the mill, make the cookies, do the stockings in the morning. We always had Christmas at our house in the morning and then went to my grandparents for dinner. So all very like the same every year.
Yeah.
But not like a specific thing.
Is there a specific meal or dessert that you had at like your grandparents' house when you guys all got together?
Ooh, the meal was always the same. Just like,
What was it?
it was kind of like a second Thanksgiving meal. It felt like, I don't know. Does anyone else feel like that?
No.
It's just like two.
No, that's how it is
Oh.
for me too.
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
for me.
yeah, it was just always like just another Thanksgiving
Yeah.
meal is what it seemed like.
Big-
Cranberry sauce, the turkey,
Oh,
I mean, the whole thing was, I think all but stuffing really was like on the table. Wow.
really?
But really like,
For you too?
yeah.
Well, until recent years, but yeah, that's kind of how it was too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's like specific things I remember growing up that were always on the table. Like my grandmother had these crystal glasses with like the red and green print on it that
My
everyone
grandma
always
has
had.
those too.
Yes. So like
Maybe
when
it's because
she,
we're white.
I think
yeah,
so.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like the
prepare
same.
for this year because you'll have something a little different on your table.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so like that was one of the things that when my grandma was starting to give her stuff away, I'm like, can I have the Christmas glasses? So Asher can have Christmas glasses for his whole life. It's like
Yeah.
I love
simple,
that.
but
I
yeah,
love
just
that.
the water glasses.
And it's just you and your brother, yes?
I
Or
have
do you
2 older brothers.
2 older brothers. Okay. And then was anybody else at your family's house for Christmas? Or just your grandparents and your...
It was so we would go to my my mom's parents' house, and so it was her brothers and sisters,
Oh, okay. So it's pretty
and
big.
then their kids. Yeah, pretty big, probably like
Nice.
15 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now with you guys living up here, does the family come up for Christmas or because your parents are here?
My parents are here.
So like, does your brother come up?
No. It's kind of come to a point where like all of my siblings, they want their kids to have Christmas in their house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally understand.
So I totally understand that. I've always kind of been the flexible,
Wherever.
go wherever it can be because I was the youngest. So I was the last one to even have that predicament.
Yeah.
And so I actually bought a pillow. It has like a pocket on the front and I had it printed, and on the front, it looks like a letter to Santa. and it has Asher's name on it. And so when we travel for Christmas, we write a letter. I mean, he doesn't know it yet, but we write a letter saying, this is where I'm going to be. This is the address. Could you please deliver my presents here? Cute. And so that he knows like that, I want him to know that, that just because we're not in our home doesn't mean you're going to be forgotten. And so,
that's so cute.
So so at this point we just go wherever my parents go.
Okay.
And they do New York one year and then Texas one year.
So this year, where are they going to be? Do you know?
We're going to be in New York. So we'll be up in Rochester at my brother's house. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love that. So that's kind of how we're navigating that.
I love that. Okay. So I want to take a deep dive, like a harsh turn, or not a hard turn, but jump into it. So you guys have been married 5 years, but I would say 3 years ago, you guys were really struck with like a big heartbreak.
Yes.
How many years ago was that? And do you want to kind of share a little bit of that story?
Yeah. So that was in August of 2020.
Oh, so your first year of marriage.
Our first year of marriage, we hadn't even reached a year yet, and we're in COVID, and so a lot was already going on. And it's I'm kind of in a unique situation with what happened because, so what happened was in early August of 2020, we got a phone call in the middle of the night that Colby's oldest brother was being taken to the hospital. No one really knew immediately what was happening, but Colby just jumped right out of bed. He's like, I'm just going to go.
And how old was his older brother?
It was right before his 35th birthday.
Okay, so 34 years old.
So 34. And so, what's happening? Colby's like, I'll go. I'll call you if I need you to come. At that point, we were living in Dallas, and they were living about an hour away.
Okay.
And so he was just going to go. It was like midnight. I had work the next morning. Not even 5 minutes after he left, he called me sobbing, and he was like, he didn't make it. He didn't make it. And it was just like this horrifying, and you're woken up from your sleep from it, and you're just like, what is happening? So I was like, okay, you need to turn around. You need to come back. I'll drive you out there. We'll figure this out. So, ultimately, he just had some heart issues and not a great diet, and that didn't help, and ultimately they kind of wrapped in it possibly being like a pulmonary embolism. So
at 34
years old,
shell shocking,
correct,
unexplainable.
And I think the two things that make it even harder, or made it harder, especially at the time where Colby and his brother had kind of been wedged apart through like other family reasons, and so they hadn't had the greatest relationship at the time, and they had just kind of started amending it the month before. So July 4th was the first time that I had really spent time with his brother. Wow. And then August 6th, we got the phone call. Jesus. So it was really hard there because it's like his emotions were getting better towards the situation, and then all of a sudden it gets ripped away. Yeah. And he's just left with all these like childhood memories, Yeah. And his brother is also married with 4 children, all under the age of, I believe it was 8 at the time.
My God.
So you just start like, how for me,
survive? How does everybody survive?
Right. How do you survive? And so I was just put in that unique situation of like, I barely know this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm dealing immediately with like some anger that they hadn't, made a better amend before. Yeah. Over such silly things, and it just happens. And so I'm kind of like angry that it's happening, but mad that they didn't get a better or more time.
Yeah.
In their better relationship. I'm completely heartbroken and devastated. I'm new to this marriage and just trying to navigate our life, and now having to walk my husband through grief. I've never had that big of an impacted loss in my life. My grandparents, yes, but age, a little more expectant. Yeah. This was definitely different and much heavier immediately. Yeah. And so, it was really tough to navigate and figure out my place and how am I going to help everybody around me that's hurting and so badly. And how am I going to, what can I do to uplift everyone and kind of see the the light of it, you know, it was heavy, super heavy. The crazy part too is like, I just remember all the numbers, but 24 days after his passing, we found out we were pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we were building a home. We were just getting towards the end of building a home. So we were excited about our home. We were going to be closer to his family.
Yeah.
And then this happens. And then we find out we're pregnant, which is like such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know my husband's now dealing with extreme loss and extreme high. Like, that's never healthy either. Because how does one person hold that, you know? Yeah.
So which is just, it's unfathomable, like loss, even of siblings, whether or not, I think you have a wonderful or perfect relationship.
Yeah.
I would say like loss of any immediate family is like, I can't even begin to process what that would be like.
Right.
But what did you feel like? How did you support him in the first few weeks? Like in those, you know, you still feel like it somewhat probably in denial. Like there's no way this actually happened.
Yes.
Was there a lot of conversations you guys had about his brother and loss, or was it more so like, did you need to just be there as far as like, let's get your mind out of this because it's everything that's consuming you? I know that there's like two different sides. Sometimes the support is like, let's talk about this as often as you want, as much as you want. And then sometimes it's like, I know partners are like, no, I want you to help me like hide from this just for like a breath of air, like take me to do something else, distract my mind, because every moment of my life is this and you're the only thing that brings me the opposite. Like where did you find yourself?
Yeah, so I really had to just kind of try to take a step back and evaluate like his emotions. So like, does he want to talk about it? If you know, I would just say, listen, I'm here to listen, to talk about anything. If you want to talk about stories, if you want to talk about, you know, things you wish had gone better, if you want to talk about like why, what happened, how does this happen, we can start Googling pulmonary embolism. You know, like I let him know, like, I'm here to talk if you want to talk.
Yeah.
At the time, and if you know my husband, he loves to talk. And at the time, he was not talking. And so I knew he was really internalizing everything.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I can either try to get this out of him, or I can just let him process this and just be his support. And so for the next, like those first immediate few days, he was keeping himself busy. And so I just let that happen. I think he just really needed time alone to cry and process. His brother was also in the middle of building a house, so he was going to his house and finishing it for him. Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I think that was really hard, but also a little bit therapeutic for him. Like he felt him there. And so, I really just, you know, let him know that I'm here to talk. If you want to talk, if you just want to hold my hand, grab my hand, and like, you don't have to say a word. It was more really for me about giving him the space to kind of navigate his own feelings while just kind of being like around him, like not letting him go astray to where he wants to do something extreme. Because I know in those moments, like those feelings get really dark and deep. And so I just kind of kept that safeguard around him so that he would feel comfortable to move around, but not feel suffocated.
Yeah, that's so smart.
So,
almost like wherever you can go wherever you want. But just know I'm going to be with you. You can roam, you can think, your mind can go places, but I'm not leaving.
Yeah. And he really picked up running at that time. He was like, I'm going to start running. I just need to get I need to, you know, and so that was the moment that his like running journey started. And even up till this day, 4 years later, I still leave space for him to run. Like there's so many times if he doesn't run for a couple days, I can see it in his face. And it's like, he's like verbalized it to me before that that's his time with God. And that's his time with Casey, his brother. And that's his time to kind of pan out all of those thoughts and emotions.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so if he hasn't ran in a couple days, like I can feel it, like see it in him That was his outlet. He needed that time alone. And that was kind of my signal, like, he needs to process this on his own, but just make a comfortable, warm home for him to come back to.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you too. You just said this. You said I had to leave space for him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's hard when you want to just like hug and squeeze and be on top. Like, I just didn't want to let him out of my sight because you just get so worried about
their pain,
what's happening, what's going through their head when they're driving over a bridge. Like what are they thinking, you know?
Yeah. So real.
And at one point, like, it got really dark, like a couple weeks in. And honestly, as hard as it was to manage the extreme low and the extreme high, I truly think God gave us Asher at that time because I think that gave Colby a reason to live. Honestly, like at that moment, he was like, had something to look forward to and be better for. And, you know, so every day he had something to wake up and put one foot in the front, one foot in front of the other for. Yeah.
That's so huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see that. You can see God's timeliness with Asher.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think too, like what a testament to, because I mean, you're talking like not even the first year of marriage in the middle of COVID, like God's faithfulness to bring you guys through, you know, to the other side.
Absolutely.
So talk to us too about like going into the holidays, like, because you would have gone into the holidays just a few short months after that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What was that like? Was there, I think the first set of holidays probably is the hardest, I would assume.
Yes.
You know what I mean? What was that like, and how did you guys navigate that together? Did anything even come up, or did it feel like kind of normalized?
Well, so Colby's family, they do a little, like, they don't celebrate holidays big. They just never did. And so I was kind of torn on that. At that point, we were living next door to his parents and about 10 minutes away from his sister-in-law and their kids. And I was like, okay, do we do something big to like bring everyone over and just have everyone be together? Or do we let them feel more normal by not doing something big?
Right.
And so it was all kind of a blur, to be honest. I think for Thanksgiving that year, I'm pretty sure we came home to Fredonia. His parents take a trip to Aruba every year, and they went to Aruba that week. So they were kind of gone. And we came up here just to kind of get some space for that. And then Christmas time, we got everybody together, like in our home.
In Texas.
The kids, everybody. Okay. We like over decorated. I was like, if nothing else, like all the adults can kind of manage their emotions how they need to. But for me, at that point, I made it about the kids.
Yeah.
Like his 4 kids needed to have happiness, joy, singing, love, home, everyone in one space. Like I felt that's what I kind of, who I served that year.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And through that, Colby then, felt the joy from that as well, like seeing them and being with them. Because again, up to that point, they hadn't really spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
And so having the 4 kids in the house really brought a lot of that youthful excitement and joy, and it was just made it more fun.
So was it just Colby and his brother Casey?
So Casey was the oldest, and then Colby. And then there's 2 more, younger brother and sister, but there was like a 10-year age gap between those 2.
Okay.
So the 2 older, so they grew up together, and then the younger 2 were kind of together. Yeah. So now here he is trying to support his younger brother and sister, who at the time were like 18 and 20, who that's a whole age range of emotions already.
Yeah.
And then sister-in-law with the babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you really feel like you had to kind of, or maybe in a reframing way, you kind of had to look at the situation like, I didn't really get the chance or privilege to know Casey or have to feel the weight of the grief like the rest of his family would, that you were kind of selected to stand for the rest of that, his side of the family during that time, like curating a holiday, making space for the family? Like, do you feel like that was your role during this?
Yeah, I do. I felt that I just needed to stay positive and happy and still be me, because they didn't need me to come around and be anything else, like
fix it or
they all knew that I didn't really know him. So for me to come in and to try to pretend that I did isn't helpful either.
Wow.
And so I just wanted to be me and just be helpful, after there were, especially in those first few weeks, a lot of like family dinners. People would send food and everyone like just doing the dishes. So his mom didn't have to like those small things that just, I hope helped, just take some things off their plate so they could have the time to sit and hold that emotion.
Yeah. Be in the moment, which I think I think it's so powerful what you said. You said too, I think going in and pretending like this grief was insurmountable for you too would have been worse for them.
right.
Yes.
It almost discounts it would have felt like maybe discounting, like, well, you didn't know him. We knew him. We grieved him. Which again, I think is just emotion out of like deep, deep pain is like, I loved it in a deeper way. And so I think the fact that too, if you're watching and you're trying to support a loved one through the holidays and this really immense grief, like you said, just being yourself and being who you've always been, because you are hospitable. You are someone who like lends helps and you want to just caretake and love people and everybody around you. I feel like that's what I've experienced of you. And I think that's what you were just looking to give.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't want to, I just wanted to be someone that people could come to and know that they could feel better.
Wow.
Feel safe, really.
I felt, I was just kind of called to be that backbone at the moment. And like another unique part of that was his younger brother and sister. They were, I didn't have younger brothers and sisters. So trying to help them through it too. So almost so that his mom didn't have to, in those first few days, especially just kind of sitting with them and talking through things I just felt like I was called to be there in that moment. It was heavy for me, a lot of weight.
Because how did you manage too? Because I think I know this, my younger sister has really supported her husband through some really heavy loss in his life late in the last few years. And we as her family have had to check in on her while she's checking in on them, because she didn't feel the loss of like the wind knocked out of her because of the loss. More like your spouse for a season becomes almost unrecognizable.
Yes.
And you have to be okay with walking them and sitting them through good, bad, ugly, pretty, better or worse. And so we were constantly checking in on her, like, what do you need? How do we get you space? How do we get you a moment of respite and relief? Like, I might just be your comedic relief for the 30 minutes for her because she's always in the heaviness as well.
Yep.
So how did you make sure that you stayed in a good headspace and really in alignment with what you needed to be? Especially for Asher too.
I'll just never forget the first time I let everything out.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I just because when you're there and we were in it, like we were living next door. So it was every single day, all day long. You're just kind of going through the motion and it was exhausting. Yeah. So I didn't really have time to think about my emotions, nor did I really want to, but it did build up. And I'll never forget going back to work the first day that I went back. And I walked in and just saw my coworkers and my boss, who are like still saints on my list. And I walked in and I turned the corner and they were all standing there and I just fell to the ground, and it was like, I just felt like I was so thankful to have people I could trust to do that with. Yeah. I couldn't imagine not having people to go to with that, because you need to let it out. As the caregiver, as the standby, or, you've got to get that out. Yeah. And I, at that point, had like an hour drive to work. Wow. And nothing hit me until I saw them. It was like, once I saw their faces and like their support and love for me, that's when I knew I could let go.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't have to be the strong one anymore.
Yeah. And like, I even feel like looking back that I wanted to be the strong one to my own family because they were also checking in on me, but I didn't want them to worry about me. No, it was,
Right.
so it was more of like the second piece of my life, my friends, my work coworkers, those people that I confided in that I really let it out with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just a lot going on.
Yeah.
Plus third trimester or second trimester hormones and all of that at that point. Like, I was like,
Yeah. Very pregnant.
what is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think too has so much to do with even some of your experience postpartum and during your pregnancy probably had a lot of that weight that you had to carry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Within those first 3 months, I had the normal nausea, that kind of thing. But then I started noticing really dark thoughts invading my head on my way home from work. Oh my God, this will make me cry.
Beautiful. It's okay. You can share it.
And
Thank you.
I think it was a part of that, like just holding in so many other people's grief.
Yeah.
On top of hormones, just like telling you things you don't need to hear. It was just, there was just a moment where I was just, there was a moment where I was the one driving over that bridge and just didn't know if I wanted to go home. It had just all really hit at once. And that was actually between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so I made it home that day and I called my mom and I was like, I need help. And so the biggest thing I think for anyone who is in that type of role is to recognize that it's okay to ask for help too, even though it's not your grief you're going through. Get the help that you need to support so that you can support other people better.
Yeah.
And so that made pregnancy really hard. But also, it was just a lot of thoughts going back and forth in my head of like, but I need to be here for them, but I'm feeling this way. And a lot of guilt on my side, while still wanting to make everything really special for the people around me. It was tough. It was tough, but, I do think all of it compiled together. Yeah. We moved, I was away from my friends. I was an hour away from my work family. I was now an hour away from my brother. I'm pregnant. It's the happiest time of your life, but also we're going through this major loss. It was just, it really compiled.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of like in my head, just file it in my head as like, it was just pregnancy hormones that made me feel that way. But in reality, like it was the weight. It was all the weight. Yeah. On top of it, combined, it was just a huge weight. But asking for help was the greatest thing I did. I went to my doctor the next day. They gave me medication. They checked in on me like every single week, and got me to where I needed to be. And that was a journey of its own, on top of still grieving my husband. My husband was just still, I could see it in his face, just as hard days,
Attempting to survive.
Just, we were just all trying to make it, but another, like, it is extreme as it is and as hurtful as it felt and how big it felt. I still think there was so much goodness that came for it, timeliness from God, because Colby then switched, he was then my caregiver. Like it gave him a role where he felt more powerful in than being kind of like the victim feeling. He felt that he could then step up and take care of, like, it gave him another reason to wake up and have a role. So as hard as it all happened the way it was supposed to happen. And we're here and we're we're all making it, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's just brave, Jenny,
Yeah.
that you're even willing to talk about this, because I feel there are probably people who listen and have felt all of those feelings while pregnant.
Yeah.
And there is so much guilt. Sometimes we can't even get to figuring out why we feel this way. We just feel like there's this brick wall of guilt for even feeling this at all while pregnant.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that the fact that you can come out of and pull this out of the dark and say, this is a real thing that women deal with, that humanity faces, and it's okay to get help, especially for like the caretaker of the family. And I just think that it's like so brave that you would open your heart and your soul to some of the most intimate parts of your story, because I think you're going to give people hope through this.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I can give anyone hope through it, that's one person, you know, that's the goal of even ever talking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, with all of it compiled, I think it just felt really big.
And because it was.
Yeah. But I also don't want to discredit anybody going through what might feel even like a small loss, you know, like you might have those same type of feelings. It doesn't have to be the death of someone very close of you. It could be the loss of just a friendship or something that makes you feel really, you know, those invasive like feelings and thoughts can come your way. And I don't want to discredit, like, it was really big for us, but it doesn't have to be that big for you to feel like you can ask for help. And as the caregiver, as the one helping other people grieving, you can ask for help too.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody was quick to want you to be helped, because you're you're so loved by your family, your friends, that it was like,
it was eye-opening. Like you feel loved by people, but we don't always say it. And so, but the outpour that I got, you know, even just from my coworkers or even my husband's family, my family, it was like, you know, you knew you had a safety net. And I just couldn't imagine doing it without any of them.
Yeah.
But so I really feel for people who might not feel like they have that safety net.
where do you think that people could start with finding something like that safety net?
Church.
Amen.
Amen. Honestly, like even just coming back here, I grew up here. I know a lot of people here, but it doesn't mean that I've been gone 11 years. I haven't been nurturing a lot of relationships here from high school and stuff, you know? So, I mean, I found y'all, like I see you two as both people I could come to with anything. There's, you know, even older women in the church and our groups and things that I see them now and I know I could go up and let it out.
Yeah.
And without taking that step to go to join a group and get community set up before something big happens, I think is the key, you know?
Smart.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So
that's powerful. I think your story it just has so many things that you can see God's faithfulness like in the middle of the chaos.
Yes.
You know, and in these little small ways that I think those are the moments that you get hope, when you can like recount a story and see where he showed himself.
Yeah.
So where were you at, like, because you were raised in church, right?
Yes.
Catholic church?
Yes.
So like, because I feel like as you're talking, like you grieved, like there was so much to grieve, right? Like even just like, I would feel like your marriage, your first year of marriage, you're like in the honeymoon phase and it comes to like a halt and you're devastated. And then you're pregnant and you're trying to keep this baby healthy and you're probably dying inside.
Yes.
And then it's like, but then you're serving people, which is like just such Jesus's heart. So that's so beautiful. So where were you like faith-wise? Did you feel like you had a faith basis? Did you feel like your coworkers were important, but did you have a church? Like, what was that like?
Yeah. So at the time when we lived in Dallas, we'd been going to a church regularly.
Yeah.
That was right in Dallas. And when we moved, their sister church was closer to us, but it was still about 45 minutes from us. Okay. But also COVID. So when we moved,
they were like pretty much closed.
We didn't have anywhere to go. We didn't have a church group in that area. I mean, Dallas is big, but we were like out towards Fort Worth. So it's like a whole different, it's not like going from here to Silver Creek. It's like totally different. And there's just so many people. We didn't have people there outside of his family. Wow. And so we would watch the services online, but I mean, it's just not the same. Yeah. Every week, you just want to be in person, and we had no chance to meet people. And so faith, though, for me has been instilled since I was born. And so thankfully, I had that to stand on. And so did Colby. Colby was raised Christian. I was raised in the Catholic Church. And at the end of the day, we both knew that even though this was really hard and really heavy, we knew that there was a reason for it, and that this was what was supposed to happen. And you have to just stay in that and believe in that. And it's unfortunate and it's devastating, but it could have been saving him from something bigger or worse. We just don't know. Yeah. So just thankful that we had the faith that we did to get through it like we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Really. Mm-hmm. And now even hearing you guys now, like this is the first time I'm hearing your whole story, but I think like you guys are so like really embody Jesus and just like lights wherever you go, like always happy, always upbeat. Not that you have to be, but that's how you guys are.
Yeah.
Which is just it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Especially hearing you coming from such a great loss.
Yeah. I think we just both know like deep in our souls that being negative or sad or what, like we can be, and we do, like, obviously I just,
you're
lost
allowed.
it.
Yeah. You're allowed.
Like we're allowed to, but that's not necessarily what we want to spread and like live in. Exactly. Like we're going to have our moments and we have our times with our people, but, we'd rather bring joy, and we both truly feel that we were given the gift of joy.
I agree with
in
that.
our soul. And so we just want to hang on to that and just praise God through that the best we can.
Wow.
Yeah. You guys definitely bring that everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, there's been so many moments where neither of you know, or Colby doesn't even realize, but, he'll get on the phone with Billy, and Billy won't outright say like, oh, it's not good, I'm not doing it. And just how he's met by Colby and how I've been met by you so many times, it's shifted our days. It's shifted the trajectory of a week, of a moment, and God definitely utilizes you guys through that.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm just blessed to have that gift. Yeah. happy to have it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you for telling us such an intimate part of your story, Jenny.
Yeah.
I want us to really quickly pray, and then we're going to do our closeout. But I want to pray for people that are experiencing grief, walking people through grief, because we can see that now, like, and as Jenny has explained, like that can be heavy by itself, just being the support. And so we just want to pray a quick prayer for you guys, and then we'll close out today's episode.
Thank you.
Cool? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Dear Jesus, we just thank you for whoever it is that's listening right now, wherever they are, whatever task they're doing, whatever they're putting their hand to. We just ask that you would give them supernatural strength, God, that you would walk them through this holiday season, that you would give them a safe space to grieve whatever weight or loss that they're carrying through this, God. Even if it's not the loss of a person, but it may be a shift or change in their marriage, or a loss of a job or a friendship, even just the loss of their own normality. God, we just ask that you would bring your presence into their home wherever they find themselves today, and that you would cover them. We just covered the Garza family. We just thank you for their story. Thank you for holding them and keeping them through these last few years, God, your faithfulness. We get to enjoy the fruit of that. So we just say thank you. We bless anybody listening in Jesus' name.
Amen.
You better tell that story, girl.
Oh, thank you so much for holding space for me to do so.
Oh my gosh.
I hope I can encourage people to not be intimidated by going into the holidays.
Yeah.
Don't let it intimidate you. Let it be a reason that you maybe do a little more for other people. Mm-hmm. And maybe just use it to, to give you a little courage to bring up that tough subject.
Yeah.
Because ignoring the fact that it happened isn't helpful either.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so maybe finding a special little gift for that person, or something, even asking, like I asked my husband, what was your favorite Christmas movie you watched with your brother growing up? And then we'll watch that. Those little things go a really long way. It helps them feel like they're still there with you, but also that you can find some joy in it all.
That's beautiful.
So
That's beautiful. It is. That's why. I was gonna say one more thing. Oh yes. If they want to follow more of your guys' story, you and Colby, or your socials, whatever, can you tell the followers where they can find you?
yeah, so I am on Instagram at Jenny G Garza, and I don't even know Colby's now. Oh my God, that's
Colby Garza
so
now.
bad. And then you can also find my husband through there. He's tagged in every single picture. Yeah, that's so terrible.
Well,
of
we're
me.
gonna have to get you on a part 2, because I feel like there's so much more of your story. I know this is a huge part, but I feel like even just what you do now, you're a nursing student, you're a dental, all these things. It's
never
crazy.
ends.
Okay.
Colby is Colby_Garza. Quick little funny story about that. When we got married, he had his own company down in Dallas, and so he was President Garza Group.
Okay.
And so when we got married, I changed my name to First Lady Jenny Garza. And so that's what sticks in my head. And since then we've both changed it. And so I'm like, I don't even know what his Instagram name is.
First lady.
He's President Garza Group. Like, he has friends that literally call him president. So anyways, that's why I couldn't come up with it.
Colby Garza for president, please.
Amen. That would be great. The United States is limitless.
Running for mayor 2027. I don't know. Something like that.
Okay, let's do our post secrets.
Let's do it.
This is a segment of every episode where we pull from the post secret illustrations. It's a book. It's like people can email or can mail in their confessions, and they just create a book out of whatever it is that you mailed in, which we think is unique because everybody's looking to confess something.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
That's the way the Lord made it, I feel like.
Amen. Because it says that if you ask for forgiveness, you'll be forgiven. But when you confess your sin to one another, you're healed. And I think everybody in this book is looking to be healed by confessing something.
Yeah.
Which they're really just looking for Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, that's not mine.
That's not yours.
This one's mine. This one says greeting. It's like the greeting card, like the greetings from California or greetings from wherever. I'm homesick for a place that I've never been to. Which I feel like is funny because I think that all of us are homesick for something, and I think you're homesick for the presence of Jesus. That's my tea.
Okay, the one I picked out, it says, before I go on a trip, I write a letter to my family just in case I die. And this is only funny because, it's not funny, but last night, this is so random, I got this cottage cheese from the store, and it was half open. And I was like, should I eat it? Should I not? I don't know. But it was Good Cultures. You know how expensive that is? Like cottage cheese? I was
No.
like, it's like this bougie brand, whatever. And so I called 3 different people, and I said, in case I die, I just want you to know it's the cottage cheese in my fridge. But I just feel like I do things like that. Like, just so you know, this is what happens in case I die. It was this. So I just think that's really funny.
That is funny. Okay.
Jenny, what's yours?
Mine's this little Santa Claus.
Oh,
I felt like it was
brand.
on brand for the day. It says, as being a conservadox Jew, I dressed up in a Santa Claus outfit to deliver gifts to needy children, which I love. It's like, I'm sad that they feel like they have to confess that, because they're doing a good thing. Like their heart,
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
their heart posture is in the right place. They just were trying to figure out how to do it the best.
Oh, and they can't get caught. You
Yeah.
totally can't get caught as Santa.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, that was on
so
brand.
wholesome.
Any Sunday secrets for you, Allie? We do a segment too where we just tell like a funny secret of something that happened on a Sunday or just through the week, I guess.
I feel like this is like funny if you're like if you're maybe serving in church or something. But so this past Sunday I was in Louisiana, and so many people know me because they know my boyfriend, but like I don't really know everyone. But like I've been introduced to so many people, but I can't remember. So this woman came up to me, she's like, I heard it was your birthday, and like gave me a hug, and I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, like, how have you been? Like, what have you been up to? How's your daughter? I didn't even know she had a daughter. She just had someone with her. So I'm like, that's your daughter. And I just like completely went along with it. And then after I was like, I don't even know who that woman was. And Devin's like, you met her? Like, and I was like, I have no idea. But like, I still love her. I don't know.
I love her. I just don't know her name.
I was like, who was that? Because I have no idea.
That's so funny.
I love
You dedicated Asher this last week.
I did. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Can you tell the viewers what your Catholic dad thought about the first half of service. So cute.
He was a little bit confused. Not confused like in a bad way, just like, what is happening? And he like turned to me and he just goes, how long do they sing for?
That's actually so relatable because I feel like the first time anybody comes to church that's never been to church, like,
Yes,
do we have
always.
to keep standing?
Yes.
Yeah, so many people. Their
Yeah.
first times are like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But I think it's so sweet. It's so
Yeah,
cute.
it was like very just naive, like, you know, you just very innocent
Yeah.
is the word I'm looking for. Like,
When you grow up in Catholic Mass and you have people sing, Yahweh, Ra.
yeah, he was like, yeah, there was
feel like you had
Spanish,
a
there
rock
was like the
concert.
Hebrew, and he was just like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did 3 languages Sunday.
Yes, yeah. So yeah,
So funny.
but he liked it. He he didn't not like, he loved the message. He just was like confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're in a chair, you're not in a pew, you're not
Yeah.
kneeling, you're not like
Yes.
just the whole thing. But it was
Yes.
great. It was great.
Yes.
I love that. That's so cute.
Mine was just that we wear this headset when we speak, and I feel like literally like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Bye, bye, bye. And I have multiple earrings on my right ear, like ear piercings, and one of them is hooped, and it's a new one. And my headset got stuck in it and was yanking it the entire time. My ear was like so swollen and huge, all day Sunday, all day Monday.
No,
Because that thing was stuck in there, but I kept trying to adjust it and I couldn't get it out. And every
was
time I
making it
pulled
worse.
it was hurting so much worse. So I don't know if the tears at the end of the service were the immense pain or that the Holy Spirit was moving, but either way, I used them.
Either way, the tears made.
kind of daddy Jesus.
Yeah.
Don't take Sky Daddy's credit. Oh yeah,
funny.
that was mine. But thanks guys for watching. We are episode 3 of 6, I think.
Yep.
We're almost there. You guys are in the middle of our mini series for the holidays. So thanks for sticking it out for the holidays with us. We hope that you got something. You cried with us. You laughed with us. Now you can follow us. Subscribe here.
Yeah.
We new episodes every week. You can follow us on our socials. Al, what's yours?
Allison Cars, I think.
Yeah.
And, yep.
Mine is Randy is Blessed on Instagram, and I think Randy Heather on TikTok, Facebook.
Yeah, and we have Secrets of a Church Girl on Instagram and on TikTok. So follow us on there throughout our weeks.
Yep. And leave any comments down below if you have questions, thoughts. If you want to just tell Jenny, thank you. 'cause we
Yeah,
love you.
that was so much. Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah.
We
No,
appreciate
thank
it.
you for having me.
Of course. Well, we will see you again next week for another episode. Bye.